Khan here, 4 seconds. I have pleasure to be in the company of Eddie Hearn in Mannheim. Eddie, wie geht's?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Wie geht's good, danke.
Big Ed's good, danke. Yeah.
Brilliant. You're fluent already. Paddy Donovan, smash and grab is going to happen.
Yes, I believe so. Listen, it's a great fight, and I was shocked when I walked through the doors tonight. The amount of people in it. I mean, German boxing seems to be flying again. I mean, we saw it with Cabiel recently. I think they've got 12,000 here tonight or something. Looks fantastic. So this is a big stage, and it's a big moment for Paddy. It's a tough fight. I think because Judasian's lost twice to Boots, and people just presume he's not a good fighter. He's a very good fighter, but so's Paddy Donovan. And if Paddy performs at his best tonight, he wins. But it's, you know, and it is a must win because the winner will be mandatory to the winner of Paro against Crocker. And that's a golden spot. So, you know, everybody focused. And sometimes when you come, you know, we joke because we went into the changing room and he's sharing the changing room with other fighters. And Andy Lee goes, "Oh, we're back to sharing the change rooms again." I said, "Good," because that's the mentality you got to have tonight. You know what I mean? We ain't coming over here as, this padded fucking superstar. We have to go out there and ensure we win tonight by any means necessary. Good, bad, ugly, fucking dirty, whatever it takes, it don't matter. We have to win. So if you've got that mentality, don't let the opportunity pass you by. What you don't want is to get in there, you know, you're not quite ready, 4 or 5 rounds in, it's not going your way. You know, you're 5 rounds down after 8 rounds, you're looking for a knockout. This guy's got a good chin. Boots gave him a hammering and he went the full 12. He's tough. So you've got to be smart, but you've got to win rounds. And you've got to do it convincingly because you're on away soil.
I think I've heard you say in the past that Paddy Donovan wouldn't want to be in the ring with Conor Benn. Is that the case? You think whenever that's been broached, that Conor and Paddy being in opposite corners, has Conor ever been open to that?
Who didn't want to fight?
Conor Benn.
Didn't want to fight Paddy Donovan?
Paddy Donovan, yeah.
I don't think I've ever said that. I mean, he didn't want to fight Lewis Crocker, and he didn't want to fight Josh Kelly, and he didn't really want to fight Rolly Romero. But these aren't. By the way, and Keith Connolly came, Conor Benn's not scared of these guys. No, he's not. But he doesn't see the value in the risk because Josh Kelly, I think, beats Conor Benn. Lewis Crocker's got a great chance of beating Conor Benn. And the money's not as good as fighting a Ryan Garcia or something like that. So obviously he's looking for the big money. But if you're good enough, you just go through the champions. And Paddy Donovan is a very skilled fighter. You know, I mean, he boxed really well in the first Crocker fight and controlled the fight. You know, hardly lost a round in that fight. Second fight was very close. And the second fight was very close, but he got dropped twice, and that was the problem in the fight. And one was very heavy, but he got up. But he's a guy with immense talent, and he's got a tremendous trainer in his corner. He's gone now. I didn't have to say that, but Andy Lee is one of the best trainers in the world, and these are the kind of moments where you need someone like Andy Lee, right? You've got to be in this moment now. You're on away soil. You're not used to anything around here, but don't forget what he's been through. He's boxed at the Odyssey in the most hostile environment, right? All the furore about the disqualification and like everything like that. Then he's boxed at Windsor Park in front of 18,000 people. Like he's not. This isn't new to him. So go out and perform.
On to Keith Connolly. He said that he's got a working relationship with Matchroom Boxing. You, on the other hand, don't seem to want to work with Keith. What's the current state of play with?
Doesn't have any working relationship with Matchroom Boxing. I think if he's got a fighter that might have a fight or two left, that's it. But you know, he said that he's entitled. He can work with who he wants. Well, same with me, and I'm not working with Keith Connolly fighters. Simple. I mean, it's no massive deal. But how I feel at the moment, how I feel at the moment, that's my situation. I'm entitled to do that. Maybe I'll change my mind in 4 or 5 years. I'll change my mind. I said the only other time I felt like this is about Jarrell Miller, and that was in 2019. And in 2026, I changed my mind. Everybody's entitled to.
Do you think in 2026, Eubank Jr. might change his mind and end up working with you?
I don't know. I mean, I think for some reason, you know, Chris has got this opinion of me, which I don't really like because I don't think I'm like that at all. And I think if you actually speak to people who we've worked with, you'll find very few people that will be able to actually say bad things about our business etiquette and how trustworthy we are. We don't let people down. But he's got it in his head that we're the enemy. So, I think it's going to be difficult to work together. It would break the internet, and it would be quite amusing. It would be a lot of fun. But he's got, I don't really know what he wants to do. Presumably move up to £168. Does he want to come back with some fights on good money, or does he think, no, just throw me in for mega money? If I was representing Chris Eubank Jr. now, I'd be saying to him, look, come back with a decent fight at 168. Let's get active. But you've got to want to make that investment in yourself. And at his age, and with the money he's made, I don't blame him. Maybe he says, no, I don't want to do that. Just stick me in with Canelo, or stick me in with, I don't know, a big name, and get me as much money as you can.
On to Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Dana White has said that he's going to be the promoter for that fight. Is he?
No, I mean, you're a bit slow and late on it. I appreciate we haven't spoken for a week, but I think that's all been dealt with now. I mean, contractually, it's completely impossible for him to have any involvement in the show. It's the most bizarre thing that I've ever heard anyone say. I don't know whether he's trolling or has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. I'm actually lending myself to the latter at the moment. And when he says, when have you known me to talk bullshit? I mean, this is the same guy that recently said, I've promoted more boxing events this year than every other promoter in boxing combined. At that point, he'd done 4. I'd done 10. I think Warren had done 7. Golden Boy had done 5. I mean, it's just the most, and no one ever questions him. It's like Donald Trump. You just come out of it, and then he just goes, shuts you down, and then moves on. He also said that I'm a bum. I wouldn't fight him. I mean, it's like one thing after the other. He also said he was the promoter for Fury Makhmedov. Obviously, he wasn't. Had no involvement in that show. No one went to him after. By the way, you said that you were the promoter for Fury Makhmedov. What happened there? And if you ask him that, he'll go, fuck you, next. Because they're not used, they're control freaks. And that's why boxing, hey Thomas, how are you, mate? Good to see you. How do you deal all of a sudden with all these people? And it's not all these people taking shots at you. He starts all these jibes in conversations. I know Oscar's in him is a little bit different. It's a bit more personal. But I only respond because he says stuff. Frank Warren only responds because he says stuff. But I just don't think he's going to want to hang around in this game because he's not going to be able to control it.
On to Fury and AJ. The belief is that, of course, Fury's going to have a fight in between the fight with Anthony Joshua. The rumours is, and he was on the social media with a Mexican shirt. People are thinking he's going to be fighting Andy Ruiz. Have you heard that, do you think?
Absolutely no chance.
Why?
Because he would never take the risk against Andy Ruiz before AJ. If he fights again, he'll be fighting someone levels below Makhmedov. Good, by the way. I don't want him to fight anybody else. I don't mind him having a fight, but let's not. I mean, I know people will say, oh, Joshua's going to steamroll Pringa. Good. I hope he does. But it ain't going to be easy. None of these fights are easy. So in an ideal world, I wouldn't want him to have another fight. But if he wants to, let's make sure it's nice and easy and just get those two in the ring.
What do you think of Fury taking the opportunity off the back of the brilliant fight between Wardley and Dubois to say that Daniel Dubois has fought and hit a load of people and they haven't gone down, but Anthony Joshua has gone down. Anthony Joshua is chinny.
I mean, look, AJ got hit by a very, very clean shot early in the fight and didn't really recover. Well, until the 5th round where he started to recover and then he got chinned by a monster trying to win the fight. Unfortunately for AJ, he got hit clean. Wardley's very good at, if you watch it, he rides punches very well, especially that right hand where he kind of slips out of range. But, Wardley might not have gone down, but did you see a state of his face? I mean, Wardley, I would say Wardley came out of that fight with 5 times more damage than Anthony Joshua, personally, even though AJ got stopped. That was a brutal fight.
People are debating now the resumes of Dubois and Anthony Joshua. I imagine you stand on Anthony Joshua's resume still stronger than Dubois.
I do, but I think Dubois is doing great. I think, you got to give him a lot of credit and respect. I mean, look, the Miller fight was a good win at the time. The Hrgovic fight was a great win. The Joshua fight was a great win. And now the Wardley fight was a great win. So you can't dismiss his resume. I just think over a period of time, AJ went on a run, especially of being undefeated. I know he lost to Ruiz, but he beat a virtual prime Dillian White, beat Vladimir Klitschko, he unified against Joseph Parker. He beat a near-on prime Alexander Povetkin, not a million miles away, a much better Kubrat Pulev, a decent Carlos Takam, beat Andy Ruiz. He's I just feel like over a period of time, but I don't feel like there's any need to really compare. Just celebrate another great heavyweight from this country.
All right, what do you think about that rematch between Wardley and Dubois? Do you think it's the right move to take it?
I think you have to. And I've been there before in situations. Andy Ruiz fight was one with AJ. You've got a rematch clause and a straight shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. What are you going to do? Go and have a 10-rounder instead and lose that opportunity. Wardley can beat Dubois. I think he's a big underdog this time, but he can still beat him. You know, when AJ lost to Usyk, that fight weren't close. And we had a rematch clause. And I'm like, but do you know what? I've got to be honest with you. It's almost a little bit embarrassing not taking a rematch. Because what are you in the game for? You know, you're kind of like, you're publicly admitting that you can't win the fight and you're not good enough. And it's very difficult for a competitor to do. Especially someone like AJ, because he looks at it and he goes, oh, I can beat him. I know I can beat him. Okay, well, and by the way, there was no way he wasn't taking that rematch. There was no way he wasn't fighting Andy Ruiz again. And there was probably no way Fabio Wardley weren't going to take that fight. Despite what anyone else might have said, his decision, he said, no, fuck that. I'm doing it.
Last one, I didn't want to end on a fun one. Sorry, I thought you had more there. That's why I thought you were about to come out with something else. Yeah, we'll end on a fun one. Don't know if you've seen John Fury come out and he said when he sees Eddie Hall, he's going to punch him in the mouth. Who would you back, John Fury or Eddie Hall?
I don't know. I mean, John talks about punching a lot of people, but he don't do a lot of it. Don't take that offensively. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, one day he's going to shout at someone and someone's going to whack him. Right? Especially, you see these guys, you know, like Froch and like, you know, all these fighters. You know, you remember when Derek Chisora came at David Haye? They don't, like, you know, like you or me, we might go, yeah, for like 20 minutes and actually not do anything. They just go crash, bang, wallop. And because you can't allow someone to come in your space. So if John Fury comes over to someone, it's very likely those kind of guys will just chin him. And then you might see a little something. But, I don't know.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.